Hello, in this quick WhatsApp demo, I intend to show you how you can both generate charts and images in WhatsApp and also share those charts with others. Again, whether that's in your other app within your device or outside of your device, shouldn't really matter. So let's show you how you can conveniently do that. I'll just share my screen. Okay, hopefully you can see that screen. So on the left hand side, again, I have a simulation of the app here. There's quite a lot of, as you can see, 26 outreaches, a number of encounters. What I'll do here, again, because it's difficult for me to simulate on this simulator, accessing other apps within the device, I'll do the sharing. When it comes to the sharing, I'll assume that we're going to share into the Pages app here on my desktop. It should work the same way in your device. Hopefully you're familiar in WhatsApp and Telegram how you can share images from your, let's say, from your gallery from your phone that you've taken with your camera. It will work exactly the same way as in the app. But without further ado, let's first show you how you can access your charts and generate those charts. So you do that by clicking on the Insights navigation, and it will show you all the information that the app has about all of your outreaches and encounters. So let's just start with sort of just the date ranges. So what the app will do when you click on the Insights button is that it will try to figure out what is your first and your last outreach that has occurred, and that is the date that is shown here. So from November 11th, 2025 to April 11th, 2026 encompasses all of the outreaches and encounters that were recorded using the app. That's by default, therefore, the dates that are shown here, and by default, all the data and all the charts that are shown below are in the context of those dates, and that's then shown in the title of each of these charts. And I'll just quickly scroll by. You can see that all of these charts have that date range logged here. Before we get too far, let me just show you what sort of charts and insights are available here in the app. So you can have your just plain totals, how many outages and encounters have been done, then how that looks like on a timeline. This is by months, every month, how many outages and how many encounters have been achieved. Now, interestingly, I've noted you may ask yourself, okay, if you go back to the home, you'll see there's been 26 outreaches, and why is this page only shown 20? Well, that's because of this note here, which I cover in a separate demo, and that's the idea that you can cancel the outreach. So I'll demonstrate that later in a separate video. But if an outreach has been canceled, it will show in your list of outreaches that you can access and in this counter here. But when it comes to the charts, it will exclude those canceled outreaches. I'll assume that those have not happened anyway. So that's why that difference in that counter there. In terms of the number of different charts that you can see beyond what we just covered in terms of the timeline, you can see outages by location. It will look at all of the locations that these outages have occurred, and it will try to figure out which ones by top 5 are your most frequent ones. Now, in some cases, if you, depending on how you use your when you generate an outreach, whether you use location, your device location features, or where you type a location in, you might get more or less mileage out of this chart, just because if you use a device's location, that location would be derived from the coordinates, basically, of your device, latitude and longitude, which may, and what this will show then is the street, right? So, and if you think you're in one street, the device might actually conclude maybe you like the one that is actually a few meters over, and so you might get a slightly inconsistency there. But that's just the nature of precision that the device works with. Otherwise, if you want to ensure that that's always consistent, you would usually type the location out, the street and everything, in your device, and that will sort of ensure that you're always in the same, if you are using the same location, that you're always it records that same location in the same way every time. But anyway, other things that it gives you is based on the activity, what activity is most frequently performed. It basically looks at the planned activity and just tries to distribute that in a little donut chart, so you see what is the most frequent one. And you can always tap on each one of these ones just to say, okay, what is this color relate to, and you have the color code here, legend here as well. And then you have a number of demographics driven charts, so encounters by demographics. So if you want to see how encounters have been distributed by things like age, or you can drop that down, you can say by ethnicity, by gender, and by religion. That's a convenient way to do that here. Or you can see the what was the receptiveness by demographics, again by age, by ethnicity, and this is more of a sort of a radar chart, which shows the different options on a kind of a radar kind of spokes, and then depending on where the greatest sort of numbers of signals are, it shows you how the distribution works. And finally, the follow through, again by demographics, by age, ethnicity, religion, and so on and so forth. It just shows basically the person, how they responded at the end of the encounter, and all of that data is driven basically from your app. The data you've initially captured during your recording of the encounter, that's the exact data that is being analyzed and shown here. So that's what you are able to generate from within the app. Now, if you wanted to, let's say, narrow that range different, let's say you're just interested in purely, let's say, just based on March data. There seems to be quite a lot of outreaches, not as much encounter. But let's say you're just interested in March data. What you would do is you would click on the first date. You would just find March from March 1st. Click on the second date, and you would say, okay, from March 1st to March 31st, and we just click to refresh. And there you go, the application will be regenerated. So all of the charts will be regenerated around just that month. So everything will be in the context of that month alone. Also, just to say that if you, let's say you wanted to now export this data just in sort of in the sense of Word and Excel reports, that is this download button here. The date ranges that you've selected in the previous screen, the March 1st to March 31st, do carry through, and you just have the option whether you want to download this as a Word or Excel file format. I'll probably create a separate video just to kind of cover that reports, how that works. So basically what will happen here is that you will get an email. The app will send you the email with the Word extract or Excel extract of all of the data that it knows about these outreaches and encounters, and send it to you, and you can then manipulate and work within that however you please. But it's for here right now, I just want to demonstrate that these dates actually carry through. Now you can change them here. So you could say, oh, no, actually for the report, I want to have all of that report. So we said some from November. I want to say everything from November all the way up to, I think it was something like, well, let's see, even you can expand even beyond what there's data, they won't mind. So from that to that date, and you can, it will still know that's the date range that it works with. He'll send that out to you. Anyway, let's not, like I said, we'll do that in a separate video. So let's cancel out of that. And the final thing I wanted to show you is how you can share these. So let's say these are charts. Let's say these are interesting charts. Let's say you wanted to share one of these charts with someone, maybe within your WhatsApp or social circle or one of the other social apps. So how would you do that? Because each of these charts are like currently they're interactive. They're not images on their own right. So you would have difficulty just like, unless you took a screenshot, you maybe could take a screenshot from your app's native screenshot capability. You could do that. But the WhatsApp, so I mean your phone's native screenshot capability, but what WhatsApp does give you the ability to generate these images from within the app as well. So the way you do that is you just tap, right? You just tap on the chart. You get for a couple of seconds, as you'll see, this little icon, this little image icon that I think stays for 3 seconds or so. And what happens is that if you click on that, it will generate basically an image behind the scenes. It would say image ready. This little pop-up comes here, and what will happen is that if you click on this icon here, that image will be open up in your browser. So let's do that right now. So now here you go. So that image exactly was generated in the app is now that chart that was generated in the app is now generated as an image. It's opened up in your phone's browser, and as an image, it can be shared as any other image. If you were to open up any other image in your browser and your phone, you could do now with that image. There's on iOS certainly. There's that you click on the triple dot icon. You can do share, and you can do various things. You can I'm sure that this will then expand to a number of different apps that you have on your phone, but let's say you do a copy here, and I'll just kind of paste that here. Let's say that this was in Pages, and there you go. You can see how that image it is now shared. And like I said, you get everything. You get the title, you get the date range, and you get the information. Obviously, now it's an image. It's no longer clickable, so it's no longer interactive, but it's here as it stands, and you can then share it onwards. So if you go back, similar thing happens with some of these more interactive charts. Let's say we're interested in encounters by gender. Okay, during that month, again, you do the same thing. Click on the select icon, image is ready, and there you go. That was the encounters by gender, and you can even do things like long press. There we go. I just did that, and you can just share it from the long press feature on your phone, and you can then do it like that as well. You can then manipulate that image further in your app however you want. There you go, and then you can again do that for pretty much every image that is shown to you, or every chart rather that is shown to you in the app. Hopefully that you found that useful. You found it useful as the ability to share charts and images and generate them by date range, and then you can again export them, which we'll cover in a separate video. Again, thank you for watching. If you have any questions about this functionality, drop me a comment in this video or send an email to support@whatsapp.org. Thank you very much.